Farm income's up in 2025. Well, that's a shiny headline that they at least want to feed you. But peel back the curtain, and honestly, it's an entirely different story. One that they don't want you to see. Everyone is acting like the ag industry is absolutely booming and that the good times are here. But if you're a farmer busting your ass in the day-to-day inside of your operation, you know that that's a load of crap. The reality that we're all facing this year is much uglier, and it's time that somebody said it out loud. Inside of today's video, I'm tearing apart what's actually going on inside of the industry for 2025. No sugarcoating, just the truth. So, is farm income actually up this year in 2025? Sure, the numbers might say so, but only if you're squinting when you're looking at them. But here's the dirty little secret. The gains that everybody is talking about are actually propped up by government handouts. Yeah, Uncle Sam's been tossing cash into the pot, and that is ultimately what's pumping up the numbers that people are seeing inside of these reports. But let's get real. Counting those government payments as part of your farm's income is a rookie mistake. Why? Because you've got no clue if that check is actually coming next year. Yes, it may be here this year, but can you count on it long-term inside of your operation? It's a lifeline, not a business plan. Relying on it once in a blue moon is completely fine. But if you're sitting there building your cash flow projections year after year, and you're banking on that government cushion, you need to ultimately wake up. If your operation has to have government payments in order to survive, the truth is your operation's broken. And ultimately, you're trying to cover up the cracks inside of your operation with money that may not be there tomorrow. You deserve the unfiltered truth in 2025, not some polished PR spin. Because while you're watching our farmer operations inside a legacy farmer post wins, yours could be sinking and you won't even see it coming. Most of you though, you can feel it happening, but you still can't see what to do exactly. Now, let's talk about farm real estate debt in 2025. Is it skyrocketing? You can bet it is. Land values have been consistently climbing since 2010, and the headlines keep talking about how healthy farm debt looks in 2025. But healthy? Yeah, that's kind of a joke. Here's what's actually happening. Most farm operations from 2024 going into 2025 were drowning in operating losses that were just sitting on their operating line of credit, holding them back from being able to operate in 2025. So what do? They're refinancing that mess on their operating line by putting their land or their real estate on the line and ultimately pledging more assets as collateral to their bank. And the banks are eating it up. More mortgages, more collateral, while farmers like you are betting the entire farm, literally. Meanwhile, cash flush investors are swooping in, overpaying for land in your area and jacking up prices beyond what any family farm can actually afford. Unfortunately, this is a squeeze play, and if it keeps up, family farms aren't just going to continue to struggle, they are going to disappear. One bad year or one missed payment and the bank could own your family legacy. And working capital in 2025, well, it's tied right up into this real estate mess. On paper, it may look decent. Charts are trending up and the bankers may be happy, but the reality is this type of situation in your working capital position cannot be in a good position unless you move your operating losses from your operating line of credit down and tie them into a long-term loan tied against your farm real estate as collateral. Now, if you strip away this refinancing trick, ultimately your balance sheet is going to be an absolute disaster. Without that loan or that restructure propping up your working capital, your balance sheet would be in a terrible position there, and possibly one of the worst positions it's been in for years. Now, guys, I'm not saying to not ever do any of these things and that we don't need to make sure balance sheets are structured appropriately and the right way. But the thing is, though, is that most people that are going through another balance sheet restructure in 2025, this isn't their first one, it's not their second one, it's not even their fifth one. They've most likely done this 5 to 10 times over the past 10 years, having to restructure some of these assets from purchases that they made or losses that they incurred over the past decade. Now, long term, this is not a viable solution. And the reason that you need to accept this harsh reality is because you need to understand the longer you continue doing this, eventually that road is going to end. And I do not care what they put in any articles talking about how healthy the industry or anything is. I can tell you from proof of seeing customers come into Legacy Farmer and the financial situations they're in. And yes, they may need to be restructured, but at a foundational level, they need to change how they operate as business owners. We need to figure out how to train and teach somebody how to make sound strategic business decisions and not just being careless or reckless or making those decisions based on how they feel in that moment, aka with their emotions. This type of stuff has to stop. And the balance sheet restructures and things like that, they may get you to next year, but you do this enough times, eventually that equity on your balance sheet is going to be pissed away entirely, and you're going to have nothing to leave for the next generation. Now, I've said this before and I will say it again. 2025 is going to be a year of reckoning for a lot of family farm operations in this country. The storm is ultimately here, and it's not messing around. You have got to take back control of your farm's financial future, and it's got to happen right now. Otherwise, you're going to be watching everything that you've built for decades, and maybe even the work of the generations before you, crumble right beneath your feet. Now, if you're finally ready to start fighting back and taking over financial control inside of your operation, click the link below, and inside of this free training, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that we have proven out with hundreds of customers coming into Legacy Farmer over the past 6 years. This isn't just about surviving another year. It's about making sure that your farm is still standing when the dust settles. You need to get ahead of this because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the next generation.